The cameras flashed, the crowd froze. And just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession.
A really, really messy obsession.
Oh, absolutely. Picture the man who essentially wrote the blueprint for millennial monogamy. We are talking about the artist behind tracks like So Sick and Sexy Love.
Right, songs that literally define traditional one-on-one, hopelessly devoted romance for an entire generation.
Exactly. Now, take that exact same man and picture him proudly managing a single household with 3 different girlfriends.
All while publicly declaring to anyone who will listen that traditional marriage is simply not for him.
Yeah, it's wild. Neo's polyamorous relationship with 3 women is destroying his career. And welcome to Starscope Report. Join Jordan and Jamie as they uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
And the whiplash on this particular story is almost physical. You are looking at a guy who made millions being the poster child for the devoted, lovesick R&B crooner. And he has completely dismantled that image to build this highly visible, highly scrutinized, and very unconventional domestic life.
He really has. And our stack of sources for this deep dive today is fascinating. We are pulling from sit-down interviews on The Sherry Show, some surprisingly candid moments on the Sorry We're Cyrus and Lemon Drop podcasts.
Plus a ton of music industry press releases and just a mountain of celebrity news coverage.
Yeah, but our mission today is not just to gossip. We are looking at a real-time, incredibly messy case study here. We want to figure out what actually happens, like mechanically and financially, when a massive public figure chooses controversial transparency over maintaining a sanitized public image.
The focus is really on that collision between personal authenticity and the corporate machine. You know?
Exactly.
We're going to unpack how this specific polyamorous household functions logistically, the pushback from the traditional family he left behind, and the fascinating reason why the corporate world is actively punishing him for just telling the truth about his life.
But to understand the business deals he is suddenly losing, we have to look at the catalyst first. Because, he didn't just wake up one day and decide to disrupt traditional relationship norms.
Right. He was backed into a corner.
He really was. It was a highly publicized, deeply messy 2023 divorce from reality star Crystal Renay. They were married for 7 years.
And they share 3 young kids.
3 kids, yeah. And the absolute breaking point was her public claim that he had fathered a child with another woman during their marriage.
Oh, man, yeah. TMZ reported all of that, and it was just everywhere. He was caught red-handed living a double life.
And the standard Hollywood playbook for a scandal of that magnitude is usually incredibly predictable.
100%.
Yeah.
The celebrity issues a carefully worded statement on social media. They ask for privacy during this difficult time.
Classic PR move.
Exactly. Maybe they go to a highly publicized rehab or counseling retreat, and then they promise to emerge as a better, faithfully monogamous partner.
Because the goal is always to restore the status quo so the brand deals don't dry up.
Right. Keep the money flowing.
But Neo completely rejected the playbook. I was reading his quotes from the Lemon Drop podcast, and his psychological pivot here is just wild to me.
What did he say?
Well, instead of begging for forgiveness and promising to be a better traditional husband, he had this massive epiphany about the nature of deceit. He claimed he realized he had spent years lying, trying to squeeze himself into a societal mold that just didn't fit him.
Simply for the sake of making someone else comfortable.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. He categorized that entire period of his life as a complete waste of time. His vow, walking out of the wreckage of that divorce, was radical honesty.
Radical honesty.
Yeah.
He declared he would never tell a woman a lie again, even if that truth was uncomfortable or ended the relationship entirely.
He framed it as stepping into his truth.
Which brings us to how he actually built his current setup, because it was not an accident.
No, it was very intentional. According to the interviews, he approached a woman he was already seeing, someone he felt a strong connection with, and just laid all his cards face up on the table.
He essentially told her, I rock with you, I love you, but it's not just you.
Right. He gave her a choice. He said, you can meet these other women and we can try to build something together, or you can walk away right now. No pressure, 0 lies.
And they stayed. The women involved, Arielle Hill, Cristina, and Moneii, all actively chose to stay.
Which blows my mind, but yeah, they did.
They even run a joint Instagram page now called Love in Formation.
Yeah.
And a crucial detail in how he frames this, he vehemently rejects the idea that he's juggling three separate relationships.
Oh, yeah, he insists it is one relationship with three people. But let's stop right there, because I was watching his interview on The Sherry Show, and the way he describes this dynamic honestly sounds like a software subscription model.
Wait, a subscription model? How so?
Yeah, like, he laid out the terms of service, presented the fine print, and just let them click agree, and he wears that consent like a shield against any criticism.
Ah, I see what you mean.
But if you look closely at those terms of service, they are wildly lopsided. How does he justify keeping a strict monopoly on these women while he gets to do whatever he wants?
You are hitting on the central tension of his entire philosophy here. Because when Sherry Shepherd asked him if his girlfriends are allowed to date other men, his answer wasn't some nuanced exploration of free love.
No, it was very blunt.
It was a definitive no. He stated that they gave him their exclusivity, and in his words, if you gave it to me, it's mine, and that's that.
See, that is insane to me. He actually tried to soften it later by claiming, oh, I deal in partnership as opposed to ownership.
Right, but in the exact same breath.
In the exact same breath, he said, if the exclusivity is mine, it's mine, damn it. You ain't giving it to nobody.
The contradiction is just glaring.
I almost laughed at the whiplash. You cannot claim to champion partnership over ownership when the freedom only flows in one direction.
It's true. He has successfully disrupted the traditional model of monogamy to benefit his own desires, but he firmly maintains traditional patriarchal control over his partner's romantic and sexual lives.
Yeah, he requires the expansive freedom of polyamory for himself, yet demands the restrictive security of monogamy from the women.
It's a hybrid model built entirely around his comfort, operating under the guise of take-it-or-leave-it honesty.
Like, he equates being upfront about his demands with taking the moral high ground, but honestly, that is not even the wildest part of this setup.
Oh, it gets more complicated.
So much more complicated. Later in the deep dive, we're going to talk about a shocking twist with his career that literally nobody saw coming. But if you're loving these Hollywood twists, make sure you're subscribed, because we got even crazier stories ahead.
Okay, so he presents this incredibly strict, completely one-sided contract, and the women sign on the dotted line. But enforcing those rules in an interview chair is easy.
Oh, for sure. Talking about it is the easy part.
Right, but how does this not instantly dissolve into chaos when you factor in 3 young children and a shared kitchen?
That is the real question. The pushback from his ex-wife, Crystal, grounds this entire ideological experiment in a very harsh reality.
Crystal Renay's objections really highlight the collateral damage of his radical transparency. She has been very vocal about her discomfort with their children being exposed to this polyamorous lifestyle.
And their kids are young. They're 7, 5, and 3 years old.
Exactly. And from a developmental psychology standpoint, her concern is incredibly valid. You are asking young children who are just beginning to understand basic social scripts and family dynamics to navigate a household with their father and his 3 romantic partners.
Just think about trying to explain a standard custody arrangement to a 5-year-old.
Right, that's hard enough.
It is. Now imagine introducing a rotating cast of parental figures on top of that.
But Neo heavily defends the environment he's built. He insists the kids do not witness any inappropriate physical intimacy. He argues that what they actually see is a highly cooperative, functioning community.
Yeah, that word, community, that is the pillar of his defense. When you look at how he describes their daily domestic life, it strips away all the salacious assumptions the public makes.
He focuses heavily on the division of labor.
Right. He notes that on any given day, one woman might be handling the cooking, while another is managing the laundry or the household logistics.
I was looking at how systematically they divide these daily tasks, and it sounds exactly like a highly regimented corporate HR department to me.
Oh my gosh, yes. You have a massive workload, so you assign specific, non-overlapping roles to maximize efficiency.
Even his approach to romantic gestures feels like an HR policy.
Oh, you mean the Valentine's Day thing?
Yes. On Valentine's Day, he told the press he absolutely refuses to do blanket stuff, like buying 3 identical bouquets of red roses.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he claims he puts in the hard work to recognize their individual personalities.
So he is actively avoiding the romantic equivalent of the generic corporate pizza party.
Exactly. You can't just hand everyone a slice of pepperoni and say, thanks for your service.
That is hilarious. But I really have to wonder, does this intense level of coordination, the scheduling, the designated chore wheels, does that strip the organic romance out of the relationship?
Or is it actually necessary?
Right. Is this rigid corporate-style framework literally the only way a modern family of 4 adults and 3 kids can survive, without collapsing into total chaos.
I think it is absolutely a survival mechanism. Yeah. Traditional romantic scripts are built for two people. The moment you introduce a third or fourth adult into a single household, those spontaneous scripts fail entirely.
You just have to adopt logistical frameworks just to ensure the grocery shopping gets done.
Exactly. And Neo expressed deep frustration on the Sorry We're Cyrus podcast about this exact misunderstanding. He complained that when the public hears about his life, they instantly project this wild, sex-fueled fantasy onto him.
Naturally, yeah.
But for him, the defining characteristic of this lifestyle is mutual logistical support.
And that actually brings up a fascinating reinterpretation of his own art. One of the articles we pulled from the Jasmine brand mentioned how he recently had to recontextualize his massive 2008 hit song, Miss Independent.
Oh, I love that song.
Right? For almost 2 decades, we all thought that song was the ultimate solo boss anthem, praising a woman who does absolutely everything alone and doesn't need anyone.
A classic misinterpretation, according to him. He recently clarified that the song was never meant to glorify isolation or burnout. It was always about mutual support and balance.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he admires strong, independent women, but he believes true strength is found in sharing the heavy lifting. That is the exact ideological lens he applies to his current household.
So he views it as a network of independent women who have chosen to pool their resources, time, and energy to build a stable domestic environment. So inside the walls of his house, he truly believes he has constructed a harmonious, well-oiled machine. He even bragged that his skin is glowing because he's living completely stress-free without the burden of lying.
He feels completely victorious.
He does. But the moment he steps outside those walls and tries to operate in the corporate business world, the reception is brutally different.
And that brings us to the financial consequences of abandoning the Hollywood playbook. On that same podcast with Tish and Brandy Cyrus, Neo made a stunning admission about his bottom line.
His radical transparency is actively costing him lucrative business opportunities.
He admitted that major brands are explicitly calling his team and saying, "We don't know if we can get behind the whole polyamorous thing."
Yeah, and he was venting hard about cancel culture. His argument was essentially, I am a respectful person, I treat people well, I am honest, but the second I live my life outside the accepted societal norm, I am suddenly canceled.
He feels he is being uniquely and unfairly punished for simply being honest about a fully consensual arrangement. Especially when the entertainment industry is full of figures who do genuinely harmful things in secret, yet they effortlessly maintain their blue-chip endorsements.
I mean, I understand the frustration of feeling judged, but we really have to push back on his use of the word canceled.
Yeah, is he really canceled?
They're really canceled, Neo? Because I am looking at a press release from Live Nation right now. Neo and Akon just announced they are co-headlining a massive 57-city global tour called Nights Like This, slated for 2026.
57 cities. It is a colossal tour schedule.
We are talking about selling out the O2 Arena in London. They are booking the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles. You simply do not secure the Intuit Dome if society has actually canceled you.
Very true.
What we are looking at here isn't a cancellation. It is a corporate containment strategy.
Oh, corporate containment strategy. That is the perfect term for it. Let's unpack the mechanism of why a brand drops a celebrity. Corporate sponsors, the companies selling family sedans, breakfast cereal, or soft drinks, they operate on extreme risk aversion.
Absolutely. They don't want any drama.
When they sign an artist to an endorsement deal, they attach strict morality clauses to those contracts. They utilize algorithmic brand safety tools that flag anything remotely controversial.
And polyamory, especially a dynamic with the glaring power imbalances we just discussed, triggers every single one of those alarms.
Right. Brands require a sanitized, predictable, universally digestible image to move products. They do not do messy.
But the people actually buying the arena tickets, they do not care how messy his personal life is. A fan streaming his music on Spotify is not conducting a morality check on his chore wheel, you know?
Exactly. That is the massive disconnect between brand safety and consumer appetite. The fans, who, according to his bio, have streamed his catalog a staggering 23 billion times, they are not looking to Neo for ethical guidance on modern household structures.
No, they are looking for nostalgia. They want to hear "Because of You" and be transported back to 2007.
A consumer can separate the art from the artist's domestic logistics in a way that a corporate boardroom simply cannot afford to do.
And the irony here is just suffocating. I mean, think about it. He blows up his entire marriage because he got caught in a massive lie.
Right.
He goes through the fire, comes out the other side, and decides, I am never lying again. I am going to live my truth, however unconventional it is.
Yeah.
And his reward for that honesty is the corporate world essentially tapping him on the shoulder and saying, hey, could you actually go back to lying? It was much easier to sell sneakers when you just pretended to be a normal monogamous guy.
Wow. The corporate machine practically demands the exact hypocrisy he blew up his life to escape.
It demands the illusion of perfection, or at least the illusion of conformity.
By choosing radical transparency, he forfeited his access to that highly lucrative top tier of corporate sponsorships that rely entirely on that illusion.
He traded millions in corporate endorsement money for his own personal authenticity.
Whether that is a fair trade is a question only he can answer. But the free market has spoken very clearly on what it values.
It really has. Let's pull all these threads together, because the journey we've tracked today is wild.
Yeah.
We watched a man pivot from hiding secret infidelity to demanding transparent polyamory.
We dug into the strict, somewhat contradictory rules of his household, where he enjoys multiple partners but demands total exclusivity from them in return.
Right. And we explored how his family survives the chaos by adopting the rigid scheduling of an HR department.
And finally, we saw this incredible split reality. Corporate brands treating him like a liability, while millions of fans happily buy out arenas just to sing his love songs back to him.
It provides a vivid, real-time portrait of the actual price of transparency. It serves as a stark reminder that society simply does not know what to do with people who openly, loudly reject its baseline scripts.
It really doesn't.
And that brings the lens right back to you, listening to this deep dive. Think about the concept of radical transparency in your own world. Have you ever reached a point where you decided just stop hiding an unconventional part of yourself?
Maybe it was a belief, a lifestyle choice, or just a messy truth about who you are.
Yeah. When you finally laid your cards on the table, did that honesty cost you? Did you lose professional opportunities or social standing simply because you stopped pretending to fit the mold?
It is a risk calculation we all have to make at some point, usually on a much smaller scale than a global pop star navigating an arena tour, obviously.
Obviously, yeah. But the underlying mechanics of public judgment are exactly the same.
They really are.
And I want to leave you with one final lingering question to mull over long after this audio stops playing. Historically, the entertainment industry has shown an incredible willingness to forgive artists for deeply toxic, genuinely harmful, hidden scandals.
Oh, constantly.
Yeah.
Just as long as they eventually sat down for a tearful public apology and promised to conform.
Right. The apology tour is an industry standard because it works. It comforts the public.
But if brands are now dropping Neo, not for abuse, not for committing a crime, but simply for engaging in a consensual, honest relationship that happens to fall outside the traditional norm, what does that actually say about what our society values?
Is the true crime in Hollywood the bad behavior itself, or is the real crime simply the refusal to hide it?
It makes you wonder if society would rather be comforted by a beautiful lie than confronted with a complicated truth.
Especially when that truth is coming from the guy who is supposedly so sick of love songs.
It seems he just needed to write an entirely new genre.
He really did. You've been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the story shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.